morning, everyone, and welcome to the Southwest Region Town Hall for Veterans Transitioning Active Duty and Spouses. We have a few housekeeping tips before we get to the presentations. First off, this town hall is being recorded. Also, closed captioning is available at the bottom of the screen, and you can adjust the text size. The audio and video functions for attendees are not available. Please use the Q&A box to ask a question or make a comment. And to use the Q&A function, there is a button on the bottom of the screen that Zoom uses for Q&A. That'll bring up a box, and you can just type your question into the box and click send. And just to note, sometimes presenters will answer those live during their presentation, and sometimes they don't. So if they don't, we will answer those questions later in our town hall at the Q&A session. Next slide. Also, because this is being done in a public space and it is being recorded, we will not address client-specific questions. This is to preserve privacy. So anything you put into the Q&A will be sent out to the world. So please do not do that. Also, any questions not answered during this town hall, we will provide those answers on our website at employnm.com under upcoming and recorded virtual events. If you're having difficulty joining the town hall, please email us at contact-us@employnm.com. And finally, WIOA Title I financially assisted programs and activities are an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Relay New Mexico 711 for voice or 1-800-659-8331 for TTY. And this is funded by the U.S. Department of Labor. All right, now that we got the official and technical details out of the way, let's start off with our first presenter. Eric Rubetta is the Quality Assurance Analyst for the Adult and Dislocated Work Programs with New Mexico Workforce Connection. All right, Eric, floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Josh. Once again, my name is Eric Rivera. I am in charge of policy and procedure for the Adult and Dislocated Workforce Programs. So first of all, I wanted to thank all the veterans and active duty service members for their service. It's very much appreciated. And you all are very much a priority for our workforce programs, as well as spouses of active duty members that are looking to meet their employment goals. So what I'm going to do today is share some of the services that we offer and how those can help your employment goals and remove some of the barriers to employment that you may have. Our first category of service are called supportive services. These are a wide variety of services that are meant to break down any barriers to employment that you might have. We can assist with things like childcare, providing reimbursement for those costs, and it is very expensive. We can assist with transportation barriers, helping to repair vehicles, provide passes for public transportation, and provide mileage reimbursement if your travel to school or work is more than 25 miles on a daily basis. We can assist with testing, exam fees, certificates, license fees. We can help with medical assistance, hearing aids, other assistive technology, eyeglasses, and even minor medical appointments. We can assist with technology and equipment such as laptops and monthly internet services. We can assist with clothing, uniforms, tools, and other equipment needed for job search or that's required for training or employment. So those supportive services are designed to assist and make sure that our participants are successful in the completion of their training and reaching their employment goals. One of the training services that we offer is the Individual Training Account, or ITA. And what that is it provides tuition assistance for individuals going to school. We can provide up to $4,000 for short-term certificates and up to $9,000 for associate's degrees with a $3,000 per year maximum. We can go above and beyond those particular limits with the right request. Those dollars cover tuition, fees, books, and any supplies directly supplied and charged by the training provider, by the school. And anything that is required for your training outside of that, that's where supportive services come in. In order to take advantage of an individual training account for that tuition assistance, a student must have applied for the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, have their degree plan and class schedule prior to funding. And the reason that we have a requirement for that application for the student aid is we can cover the gap of whatever is left after that funding. The program has to be approved in our system. The vast majority of programs in our region are already in our system, but if they're not, we can work with the school in order to get that program on there. And that program has to lead to what's called an occupation in demand, which if you meet with one of our talent development specialists, we can show you the labor market information that determines that. And it's actually a very low threshold. So there are hundreds of different occupations that actually meet that requirement. And once that training is complete, we can move into what's called on-the-job training. So this program is designed to reimburse an employer to offset the cost of training our participants. Sometimes even with the degree or some experience, there's still certain skills that certain employers need their employees to have that are based on their operations or their exact field. So we can help offset the cost of that for employers by reimbursing for our participants' wages at up to 75%. That training term can last around 6 months or around 960 hours. So it is a significant benefit to the employer that provides a huge leg up for our participants to be able to job search and make it so the employer removes a lot of the risk for training our participants. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much.
All right, next up, we have Pete Carreras. He is a veteran representative in the Veterans Employment and Training Services team with New Mexico Workforce Connection. He specializes in helping veterans overcome challenges against gaining meaningful employment, provide resource information pertaining to training and educational services that may be available to them, and/or provide information on VA disability compensation. All right, Pete, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, as Josh has just explained, I am the veteran representative that specializes in helping veterans overcome challenges from gaining meaningful employment. And some of those services include career and job counseling, providing labor market information, assisting in tailoring skills and abilities to the job market, assistance with local listed jobs, whether it's through the WIOA or outside of the WIOA, using the National Labor Exchange search engines. Recommendations for training and education to qualify for better jobs and careers. So this can entail whether it's state funded, New Mexico Workforce Connection funded, and/or VA. I don't have access to their systems, but I do refer. We do provide assistance and instruction and use of the New Mexico Workforce Connection online system. That way, veterans have a better understanding of it, and they, could optimize their chances of being approached by employers by, placing a better resume into the system, which falls into the next one, resume preparation and critique. So I assist both in private sector and federal resumes. So if you are interested in USA jobs, I could assist you in trying to navigate the USA Jobs website and also the OPM website, which is the federal government's HR department, essentially, where they have all their classifications of jobs. So I could show you how to tailor your resume to those specific jobs for better prospects of getting that job, right? And of course, developing jobs for those veterans with barriers to employment. And this is achieved by working in hand with the other veteran representative over here at New Mexico Workforce Connections. That's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Pete. Now we have Rob Polanco. He served 23 years in the United States Air Force and is currently the local veteran employment representative with New Mexico Workforce Connection. As a local veteran employment representative, his duties include conducting outreach to employers, facilitating job search workshops, and providing employment and training services to veterans. All right, the floor is yours, Rob.
Thank you, sir, for that introduction. First off, to the active duty and the veterans, thank you so much for your service. As explained there, so my principal duties is, unfortunately, I don't really deal with the veterans hands-on. My job, in a nutshell, would be to go out to businesses, local businesses, for example, a car dealership, see that they're hiring or they're looking for 2 mechanics. I immediately go to all of our veterans that are registered with us, do a file search for anybody who has experience in mechanic, and I just reach out to the employer and try to get them to hire these veterans. I go over any type of tax credits. For example, if you're a wounded warrior, I explain to the company that if they hire them within 1 year being discharged, the credit is 40% for the first $12,000 of wages up to $4,800. So I really go out there and I try to market why we need to hire veterans. As you can see there, veterans are well-disciplined, trained leaders, goal-oriented, etc. As explained there, I really go out and I just try to connect these veterans that deserve these jobs. So if you can, if you're a veteran, if you're a spouse, transitioning active, please register with our system. The other thing I do is once a job is posted, only I can see it for the first 24 hours before it's reduced or before it's displayed to the general public. So in that 24 hours, I try to get a veteran placed with that position before it's open to the general public. Please, once again, register with our system, and I look forward to helping you in any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And now I think we have a quick poll question. I'm going to have Darlene Lopez, who's our one-stop operator, start the poll. Darlene?
Thank you, Josh. Okay, guys, quick quiz. So our question is, in what year was the Veterans Administration Act signed into law? 1819, 1929, or 1944? I'm going to go ahead and launch this. You should see it pop up on your screen. And we'll give everybody a few minutes to answer that question. Okay, we've got 28% of our votes are in. So far, we're 50-50 between 1929 and 1944. I think we still have a few more people. Okay, we're at 42%. We have a few more people who haven't answered yet.
Good morning, this is Laura. I have my answer.
Okay, are you seeing, oh, you don't have the poll. Okay, go ahead, cast your vote.
July 21st, 1930.
Oh, I'm gonna have to ask you to expand on that one. Okay,
that's when that's when it was actually founded, was on July 21st, 1930.
Ah, okay, so that might be
So I
some of
would
the
have to say
confusion.
my survey answer is 1929.
Okay, got it. Okay, guys, I think that we have gotten everyone we were going to get. All right, so it looks like we are 50-50 split between the 1944 and the 1929. And that might be the reason why, because if you look online, you will initially get a date of 1944. Any background on why that is, Laura?
Towards the end of World War II, they expanded more to the program.
All right, well, there you have it, your fact for the day. Thank you all so much for participating.
Thanks, Darlene. And this provides a good transition over to Laura Berghoff, who is our next presenter. She is a vocational rehabilitation counselor with the Department of Veterans Affairs VR and E Division, and assists veterans and transition service members with reaching their vocational goals. She is a U.S. Air Force veteran, has a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling from Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia, and has 17 years of experience as a vocational rehabilitation counselor, both state and federal. All right, Laura, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. So our program was originally labeled as vocational rehabilitation and employment services. Within the last year, we've rebranded and became Veterans Readiness and Employment Services. Our passion is that we are here for the veteran to achieve jobs that are suitable to their interests and abilities and aptitudes. We want to make that transition from their military career to a secondary career. We also assist veterans who are not able to work to maximize their independence in the home and community. The regional office is located in Albuquerque. We have 8 rehabilitation counselors, 1 employment coordinator who works closely with veterans that have reached the point of employability, whether we've provided the educational and training tools. The employment coordinator works closely with Pete and with Gilbert and myself. We have 1 program assistant who pretty much is our secretary, clerk, does everything as far as all the paperwork, ordering things. He's just our go-to guy. And I'm actually based out of Las Cruces. I work solo in my office. And so let's see, who's entitled? Any veteran that has a 20% or more service-connected disability rating. However, there are some cases where we will find a veteran who is 10% rated, but that rating has to create a serious employment handicap in order to be entitled to our program. A veteran who has received an honorable or other than dishonorable discharge is also eligible to apply. We will determine entitlement at initial evaluation to determine if they have an employment handicap that is in part connected to their service-connected disability. And the key is that the veteran has not overcome that impairment to employment. We want our veterans to think more about careers versus jobs. Jobs anybody can get, but we want to establish that career goal. That way it allows them to, have a second career, and it allows them to have more stability in, finances, taking care of their family. We kind of look at it as it's a rebirth of a dream that they had. If they dreamt about being in the military, but certain things had occurred that they no longer can serve, we want to build that idea of having a new dream. Again, we are an employment program, so we want to have that achievement of stability in their work goals, their family life, their social interactions, and basically independence. So we will work together with the veteran to determine if they have transferable skills. Yes, a lot of veterans have served in served in the military as infantry, or something that, you know, a veteran will go, well, how is my infantry or my combat engineer or, you know, other MOSs, how will that transfer to, you know, goals? So we look at not just what their MOS was, but what was part of their duties. Did they lead? They have leadership skills. They communicated with fellow soldiers. They communicated with the community. They have communication skills. Okay, so we kind of look at that, but that's not how we look at the goal, but we use those transferable skills. We look at their aptitudes. We provide them with a career scope assessment that measures their aptitudes. You know, how is their general learning ability? What are their math skills? A variety of things, but it also measures what their interests are. You know, what do they like to do? We also want to make sure that the employment is viable. And what that is that are they able to make a living wage above the living wage, which is preferred? Is it going to be stable? And is it going to not aggravate their service-connected disabilities? We are ethically bound not to place a veteran into a program or a vocational goal that will continue to aggravate their service-connected disability. So, for example, veteran A wants to do auto mechanic, but they have shoulder problems, they have back problems, they have knee problems. That's not suitable because they're going to be on their feet, lifting, working overhead. It's not suitable. But we can look at maybe, say, mechanical engineer. It still deals with mechanics, but in a different light. As far as independent living services, I mean, that is if a veteran is physically disabled and needs accommodations in their home in the community. We, again, will explore the labor market information. Why would we put a veteran into a program that there is no job prospects? The labor market shows that there's a decline in need for these type of individuals. Again, we will look at the physical demands and the job characteristics of what the goal is, and is it going to be suitable? We will select a program track that's based on the need of the veteran to reach their goal, okay? Every veteran has a different need, so no two plans are going to be exactly the same. We'll look at the different training programs that are required. We will identify different resources within the community, within the VA itself, to achieve that vocational goal. The 6 tracks of employment are the long-term services, okay? The long-term services are going to be where we provide them with education, training. We also provide employment services towards the end of their training program to help them with their resume development, interview skills, job seeking skills, and at times we will do job posting referrals. So the first, and then the second one is reemployment. Say a veteran had a job prior to going into the military and they want to return to that same position or that same vocation, but yet their former employer is no longer hiring. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to help them seek employment with a different employer. We can provide job accommodations, job modifications, work adjustment, and consulting with potential employers. Rapid access. Rapid access is actually, there's no training involved because the veteran has the training, the knowledge, the skills to find employment, all right? So we're going to help them strictly with employment services, which is resume writing, the interview skills, job accommodations. We can provide some refresher courses. It's a license or certification is needed. We will help with obtaining that. Job search assistance and employment adjustment services. And again, they're personalized case management. So going back to the long-term services, we do have internships and apprenticeships. We have on-the-job training that is very similar to what DWS offers. We do have the education if it's required to become employed. Part of our program and what is different between the post 9/11 is that we pay all costs of the educational piece, the tuition, the fees, required books. We provide a set amount for expendable supplies. We can provide tutoring if it's needed. We also pay a monthly subsistence allowance. And as you can see, there's the 653, that is for the VA BRNE standard rate with no dependents. Whereas the 1244, and that is actually incorrect, it's actually 1224 a month, is what the BAH is for the post 9/11. So there is that range. Okay, so if a veteran is entitled to the post 9/11, we can actually pay at the BAH rate of post 9/11. We do have what we call a revolving fund loan. That is in case of an emergency where you're not able to participate in the program due to, say, your car breaking down and it's the only piece of transportation that you have. We can provide you the funding as a loan to have your car repaired. And then that is repaid out of your monthly compensation at a percentage of what you took out as the loan for the next 10 months. The VA does have work study positions available. You would contact, say DWS. I know that they've had work studies. The New Mexico Department of Veteran Services uses work studies. New Mexico State and the DACC use work studies a lot. And again, personalized case management. And then again, we will provide that job ready services, which is when the veteran is at the point of nearing their graduation from the training program, the counselors do a referral to the employment coordinator who will then establish contact with them to get them ready to hit the ground running when they do graduate. Self-employment is actually quite entailed. If they're wanting to work for themselves, there is certain criteria for becoming self-employed in using this program. And the veteran service connected disability has to be so severe that they're not able to actually work in the most common area. We do, in some cases, help veterans who have an existing business, but it's very limited on what we can provide. Let's see. Limited employment services. Now, this is something that has just recently been added to our track. If a veteran has been in a vocational rehabilitation program before, whether it's in our program or with a state rehab program, and they completed everything and their file was closed, a veteran can come back or can apply for our services for limited employment services only. There's no funding, there's no what we call the employment adjustment allowance. It's strictly for a veteran who is due to like COVID. This is what came out of COVID, was that veterans had lost their job because of COVID. Well, this is allowing veterans to come back into our program or into a rehab program that will help them with employment services only, okay? Let's see, independent living. This is one of my favorites because I have worked with veterans that have served in World War II and the Korean War. So these are my favorite guys. So we do a preliminary independent living assessment to determine what activities are they no longer able to do because of their service-connected disability. We do a comprehensive in-home assessment. However, because of COVID and my restrictions, I have been able to do a comprehensive in-home assessment. But what counselors do is they go in and they look at the home itself. What structures, what barriers are there to that veteran that is not able to, move about their home, We provide assistive technology. We do have the HISA grant for home modifications and construction. One of the biggest ones is ramp and rails. We really want the veteran to get back out in the community as much as possible. So we'll provide that connection with community support. We do the referrals to the SAH housing program and the HISA. These are just some numbers that show what kind of impact our program has provided to veterans in the past. As you can see, this year we've had 56 employment rehabs, and right now we have 102 positive outcomes, but that's actually not correct. We've actually added more. Let's see. So when you're working with veterans on that side with DWS, you want to ask, what is their disability rating? Do they earn the individual unemployability? Are their earnings over $3,000 per month? Are they also receiving Social Security disability insurance? And one thing that our program is if they're collecting SSDI or individual unemployability by the VA, they have already determined that the veteran is not employable, and this is not the program for them because we are an employment program. So why apply to VRNE? We pay the tuition, we pay the fees, we pay the books, we pay the supplies, plus we pay a monthly subsistence allowance. They get to keep their financial aid. So if they take out a student loan, they get to keep it. They get a grant, the Pell Grants, they get to keep it. The scholarships, however, go directly to the university, which then reduces what is charged to VA. They also get an employment adjustment allowance for 2 payments. So once they've graduated, they've entered job ready status, they will receive 2 months of an employment adjustment allowance that is equal to what they were receiving in their monthly subsistence allowance. Again, we have the employment supports. It's a one-on-one employment assistance. We have direct hire opportunities. That's where those job posting referrals come in. We work with New Mexico's DWS and the DVOPs. I have a great partnership with Gilbert and Pete. We also can provide referrals for medical, mental health, and emergency dental, okay? And that would also come from El Paso. I wouldn't do medical referrals or any type of referral to Albuquerque. Why would I send my veteran up to Albuquerque when El Paso's so much closer? So to apply for our services, you would go to ebenefits.va.gov. However, they're changing out and it will be strictly va.gov. Look under additional benefits, select Veterans Readiness and Employment, make sure that you read the program information, update your contact, and apply for Veteran Readiness and Employment. As you can see, if you don't have access, then you can actually use VA Form 28-1900 and mail it to our scan site to which is in Janesville, Wisconsin. Once you are determined eligible, then you will be invited to attend an initial evaluation program. Here's the contact information for my office, but then I also added the Albuquerque office. Thank you so much, and that's my time.
All right, thank you, Laura. Next up, we have Alyssa Bond. She is the Rural Area Outreach Specialist, who also is the primary coordinator for the VIC Emergency and Rural Rapid Rehousing Program. A lifetime New Mexican, Alyssa has been with the VIC for 2 years, helping our state's veterans and end their homeless cycle and connecting them with VIC services and supports. Her program is unique in that the funds can be accessed and used to support any veteran family, including members of the National Guard, reserves, and unremarried widows with immediate housing options, or prevent them from becoming homeless if facing eviction. The widow of a veteran herself, Alyssa understands the challenges that rural veterans and their families face with limited access to services and resources throughout our state. Although based in Albuquerque, providers and veterans can access her programs via telephone or email, regardless of location, by calling her at 505-355-9869 or emailing her at alyssa.bond@nmvic.org. All right, Alyssa.
Hello. We are primarily located in Albuquerque. Our mission is to enable veterans and their families to achieve housing stability, financial security, and a renewed sense of community. We were established in 2005 in Albuquerque. 90% of our staff is made up of veterans or their family members. We serve about 1,200 families annually with the 2.2 million annual revenue with under 10% overhead costs. Our service area, we are out of Albuquerque primarily, but we can service any of the counties that you see. Our rapid rehousing program that is funded by BHSD allows us to serve veterans in rural communities who don't have access to other programs. We serve veterans who were on active duty with any type of discharge other than bad conduct or a dishonorable. We also serve veterans who served in the National Guard or the reserves with 0 active duty time. They were never federally activated. And we also serve unmarried widows of veterans. The only caveat to that is they had to have been married to the veteran during their time of service. We are a 3-tiered program. primarily. We have our emergency and housing program, our transitional housing program, rapid rehousing, and we also provide a food pantry, nutritional services, donations, and move in and out programs. And we have just started our mental health counseling and support services. Our emergency housing program is immediately for those who are experiencing literal homelessness anywhere in New Mexico. We are able to provide that service telephonically. Our transitional housing is located in Albuquerque with up to 1 year of services or longer, depending on the veteran's need. And our rapid rehousing program is a permanent housing opportunity that we can provide long-term housing stabilization. Our emergency housing program is up to 7 to 14 days. We remove the veteran from literal homelessness, the streets, if they're sleeping in their vehicle. We conduct a 7-period quarantine now with with COVID being a regular thing. Our grant is provided by the New Mexico Department of Behavioral Health. We utilize hotels and motels in our community, and also are working on making relationships with hotels in our rural communities so that we can have a good location for our veterans who don't have that opportunity to come down here immediately, or who wish to stay in their community. We can utilize emergency housing services anywhere in the state if they have a case manager or other service provider that they are working with who is local to them. Our transitional housing program is located up in Albuquerque. It is about 2 blocks away from the VA Center, which is convenient for the veterans who may not have transportation. We utilize 13 apartment units, up to 4 veterans, 42 beds. They're fully furnished with everything they would need in the kitchen area, bedding, and we are able to accommodate veterans who have disabilities. We manage our units independently, and we also manage the units for regular tenants who are non-veterans. Rapid rehousing is funded by SSVF. It is the final stage in our 3-tiered program. We move the veteran into a new apartment for long-term stability and can provide up to 9 months of additional supportive services depending on the need for the veteran. We also help with homeless prevention, veterans who are facing eviction. And most of our furniture that we provide is through donations. We also have a comprehensive wraparound service that includes case management, life skills group, job prep, nutritional services, and peer support services. We have a food pantry located at our central office off of Tramway Central in Albuquerque. I know a lot of the veterans and family members who are on today are located down south, but we are able to accommodate them in the event that they have an appointment up here on the days that we do have the pantries. I believe them Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I could be wrong. I'll double check on that. They can come up once a month and get a food box if they are in the area. Our furniture donation and move-in programs, we are able to take donations, large furniture items. At this time, we're not taking any smaller donations like clothing items, but we are still accepting furniture items for veterans who are in need. We can provide the move-in assistance anywhere in New Mexico if we have kind of a heads up and can plan for it properly. So if anybody is in need, that is something we can help with. We have our mental health counseling program that is up at our transitional housing program at El Serrano. We are able to help veterans who may have previously been a higher level of need, who need intensive outpatient treatment or mental health services. We also have a certified peer support specialist on staff who can help with other concerns. Our Rural Veteran Outreach Program, Operation Rapid Response, enables our outreach team to go to our rural communities around New Mexico and assist with services that we can provide. We have been able to help this year about 4 veterans in rural communities with rapid rehousing or homeless prevention. Right now, we also have a VIC funded program that allows us to send food cards up to $125 for a household of 4 to any one of the providers from Walmart or Smith's, or a Visa gift card if Walmart or Smith's are not in the area. We would just need to verify their veteran service with the VA card, a DD 214 or an NGB 22. This is our location and contact numbers. We also have an Alamogordo office down south for rapid rehousing. Her name is Mary Beth. She would be the one you would want to contact if anyone is in need of rapid rehousing or emergency housing services. And she can coordinate with me to get them services for emergency housing, and we would work together to provide the services to get them off the streets and into permanent housing.
All right, thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Appreciate the presentation and information. Now we're going to switch over to our Q&A section, and Darlene will go ahead and take over for that. Darlene?
All right, thank you so much, Josh. Once again, Darlene Lopez, the one-stop operator for the New Mexico Workforce Connection offices in Southwest New Mexico. So the first question, let me see. And just as a reminder, everyone, to use the Q&A box if you have a question on these. It's a webinar, so we cannot see you, we cannot hear you. The only way for you to communicate with us is through the Q&A box, please. Also, just another reminder that we cannot address any client-specific questions, so please don't enter anything personally identifiable or reveal details of a particular case. This is to protect your privacy, but please, it doesn't mean you shouldn't reach out to us if you do have questions about something going on. We could definitely connect with you outside of this call to follow up on that. Okay, so the first question is, what if I am being assisted by another transition program? Can I still work with the WIOA programs?
Yes, again, this is Eric. Absolutely. The answer to that question is yes. Our programs are designed to fill gaps or pick up where another program leaves off, and we can enroll at the same time and what's called braid funding and cover those gaps concurrently. So yes.
Thank you. The second one is, I have a college student who is working on his welding certificate, and he has exhausted all the GI Bill tuition assistance benefits. Can anyone help?
Yes, we can actually cover all of that stuff as well.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I have a college student who is working on his welding certificate, and he has exhausted all of the GI Bill tuition assistance benefits. Can anyone help?
BR&E can, if it's a suitable, employment goal.
Perfect. Thank you.
And or if they qualify, right, Laura?
Of
Right,
course,
if they're found
eligibility.
entitled. Yep.
Eligibility, of course, applicable to most of these programs, yes. The next one is, I do have a place to stay right now, but I would like help getting a place of my own. Does the integration program help even if you're not technically homeless?
Yes, we can. We would provide, we would do an eligibility screening and see what best works for the veteran and see what options there are. Ideally, we would try to utilize our transitional housing program if they're willing to relocate to Albuquerque temporarily. If they are not, we would see what other options that there are. Definitely help.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, the next one is, I have been transitioned out of the military for a while now, but I just don't feel confident to get out and start applying for work. I have a disability and just don't know what kind of opportunities are even realistic for me. Do any of these programs help locate employment for veterans?
That's what I specialize in. So like I could definitely help you figure out career paths, and we could explore all the benefits that are available to you, whether it's through WIOA or through the VA, and again through the state, because the state has a scholarship for veterans who are 10-year residents, have exhausted all their GI Bill, and it pays for tuition and books in any accredited institution in New Mexico.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then the R&E as well. And the career scope assessment will help kind of realize what their interests are, what their aptitudes are. And we base that on their abilities, you know, related to their service-connected disabilities.
Got it. Okay, let's see. The next one. When I finish my degree, I will need help paying for my exam and some supplies. Does the workforce system have support for that?
Yes, the adult and dislocated worker program can cover the exam fees as well as any supplies needed for the degree itself, or anything an employer requires them to have and does not provide.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Is it possible to get help from all of these programs at the same time?
Yes.
That is correct. Thank you. Okay, so even though I am a veteran, I seem to be having trouble finding the kind of job I am looking for. And I know my injury is a major reason. Do any of these programs help veterans secure employment and help to advocate for them with the employer?
Yes.
Yes, I think multiple programs here could help doing that, advocating with the employer and educating the employer.
Yes, and also if there's a specific job you're looking for or a specific position, if you reach out to me, I'll go to that company in person and do some advocacy for you to gain that position.
Excellent, thank you. Do I have to go to school with the dollars available here, or can I just do a hands-on training or on-the-job training?
Yes, that is an option. So if the employment path that you're on does not require a degree, or you potentially already have that degree, we can go right into the on-the-job training services in that field for sure.
I also know if certain employers participate with the VA, they also have their own on-the-job training program that taps into their GI education benefits to pay for the on-the-job training, I believe.
Thank you. Which program can offer things like shoes, clothing, and jackets for veterans transitioning active duty who are needing some decent attire to walk into an establishment to be able to apply for a job?
The Veterans Integration can help with that. We have taken clothing items and household items to veterans in different parts of the state previously. We also get donations from different clothing organizations and stores. So a lot of the stuff that we do get is very new or gently used.
Awesome. Okay, it looks like we got through all of our questions. So I will pass it on back over to Josh. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Darlene. And just as a quick reminder, if any of our attendees think of a question later on, you're more than welcome to reach out to us again, and we'll get to those questions. So I want to thank everyone for attending. Thank you to our attendees. Thank you to our panelists, Eric, Pete, Rob, Laura, and Melissa. Thank you very much for all the information and work that you all do. Thank you, Darlene, for helping organize this, and Angela. Both of you did a great job. We appreciate everybody's time. And just FYI, a recorded version of this town hall will be available on our YouTube channel, Employ NM. Please subscribe. We are building up that channel. We're trying to provide a lot of information and resources that you can access at any time. So please subscribe. You can also learn more about New Mexico Workforce Connection Services at employnm.com. Again, there's a lot of resources there and information available to you. And finally, follow us on Facebook at EmployNM. Again, that's one of the quickest and easiest ways for us to get information out and for you to communicate with us as well. So it's a great resource for everything. So once again, thank you for your time. Everyone have a great day.